Welcome to another episode of the Coach's Box, episode number 15 tonight, live from La Pechanga. Ray Halbrook, owner of Livestream STL here. Just want to say thanks so much for tuning in and getting on all the different social media waves that we have out there. Waves like, other than Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the Roku channel, Twitch, on a Periscope, all those fun places. Just check us out. If you're interested in getting that Roku channel, log on to tkdssports.com and you'll get that Roku channel, $4.99 a month. So we are going to jump right on in here. This is going to be the football edition here, and we've got the guys here and a special guest. Also, we're down a one coach, but we have another coach covering for him here. Riley Blair is gone on vacation. So, Chris Miller, how's your week been, my friend?
It's been a little busy.
A little busy?
Yeah.
A little busy, it's okay.
Yeah. We had camps. I want to talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about camps for just a quick second here. How's camps going for everybody? Chris, you?
I mean, we got a lot of kids coming out. They're socially distanced. We wipe down the basketballs.
Shoot.
Well, we've advanced. We fog the basketballs at Hurt Millennium. We have a fog machine where we get to fog everything.
Turn the lights out.
We're taking every step that we can.
No, that's Pice's intro.
That's
That's
exactly
Pice's
right.
intro.
Yeah,
So
that's
where
the
our fog
lights
machine
out.
went? Oh, I know now.
It's Herculaneum, right?
It's a sanitation fog, man.
I'm sure you can add that in there with the other fog. You've had camps too. haven't
We
you?
had a couple open gyms
There you
last
go.
week, and
Yep.
then we started, I guess, if you want to call it camp this week. Great numbers, about 40 between junior high and high school. So girls are working hard. It's exciting.
Awesome. I've been in full go with football camp in the morning, and I've had basketball open gyms in the evening, so been busy.
Been living at the school.
Yeah, it's been a change because, I mean,
Been at home
from
for like
March
3 or
until
4 months.
a lot of homeschool, I was tired of that anyway. I was ready to get back.
Yeah, tell the kids to go to school now. They're all happy to be there.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a special guest, Coach
Yeah, we
Mike
do.
Ginge.
Yeah.
New
Howdy,
head coach
guys.
at Oakville.
Howdy, guys. Yeah, we finally opened things back up north, and we got going this week, and it's been fun. We've had great attendance. We had 47, I think, the first day, and 52 today. So, trying to maintain everything outside right now for this first week, just to tread lightly with everything. But it's good to meet the kids and good to get going and finally kind of move towards hopefully a football season as we get going in the fall of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, we're all hoping.
Got our fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
All of us basketball coaches got our fingers crossed because if things don't go good in fall, I mean, so
Yeah.
I'm rooting for it. Let's get it.
Yep.
So with that, I mean, being up in the county, what do you guys have with the whole COVID issues? I mean, down here we've got the different phases. We're kind of in phase 1. We're in phase 1. He's in phase 55.
Yeah.
But what do you guys
Contact
doing?
day. You mean
Yeah.
contact day number 55?
Say we
'Cause
are.
that's probably
We
about
are
where
2.5
he's at.
minutes into the show.
Right?
Contact day 55.
But what are you guys doing up in
No
Oakville?
advantage.
You know, really, I mean, we're in I think phase 2 of the county, maybe phase 3. So our numbers kind of went up last week. So it was kind of funny because we had a coaches meeting last week. Our numbers were all set in one spot, and 2 days later it changed. And so we just kind of agreed that we were going to maintain and stay outside. Obviously it's the social distancing and trying to keep the kids in the groups that they are always in. We actually broke down and bought some rubber footballs so we could just have, we could spray them down and not ruin them.
$4.88 at Walmart.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, right? Yeah, Voight.
XFL.
They're Voight. They're Voight footballs. So
That's old school.
it is
That
old
is
school.
old school.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at PE recess. I pulled them out today, and the kids kind of looked at them. They're like, "What are these?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm not wiping down a $65 football with a disinfectant wipe every time somebody touches it." So, but our AD's been great. She's gotten us the disinfectant and all that stuff. But it's tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be an interesting process as we get closer to the fall.
Sounds exactly what we're trying to do at Herky. We got only 20 kids in the weight room at a time, 2 to a rack. They get done, they're wiping it down.
Yeah.
The footballs, the basketballs, like I said earlier, you guys making fun of me, but we do have a fogging machine that it fogs, and in 10 minutes they're good to go.
Yep. Yeah.
So we're doing everything we can to keep everyone safe. Coach Hunter and the football staff, every kid has what he calls a gator, and we try to get the kids to wear those inside if we're in any meetings or whatever, but trying to keep them – it's hard to keep teenagers away from each other.
You're right.
It's a contact sport.
Well, I mean, and then we have to, we as coaches, we wear a mask when we check the kids in. And then while they're hanging out in the stands, they have to wear them. And, when we take water breaks, we told them they all have to bring hand sanitizer. And so after, each water break, they sanitize their hands. It's just a process. It's just such a different world that we're dealing with.
We
now.
have every kid has their own water bottle.
Yeah.
And then only the coaches can. I'm in charge of H2O.
You're the water boy.
I am the water boy.
High quality.
That's
You guys
right.
are drinking the wrong water.
High quality of H2O, and coaches are the only ones that touch the thing.
Yep.
We fill up the water for them, and each kid has to bring their own water bottle. We gave them access to a store where they could buy water bottles. We provided water bottles, so we're just trying to keep them from sharing.
Yeah.
You know how
and that's
kids
the thing,
are.
Our first day, the kids were running out of water. I mean, it was 95 degrees at 10 o'clock, and so we went out and bought water bottles, and just chilled it. And if they ran out, they could come, and the coach would hand them a bottle, to refill, because it's just insane. We got all these water mechanisms, all these water troughs and cannons and all this stuff, and we can't use any of it. It's just mind-numbing sometimes.
So what's the visual of what a practice looks like? Because I know you're going to have your skills, you're going to have your line, but is everything on air? What's that?
For us, we haven't really started that aspect. We've done some walkthrough. We just kind of used this first week as conditioning. But at the end of conditioning, we've been doing some offensive walkthrough, and we look like an air raid team on crack. The offensive line splits are like 10 feet. We're covering. Mike Leach would love us right now.
So you got big offensive line splits.
Yeah, we're spread out, and I'm like, okay, so in normal situation, the quarterback would line up here, but today he's got to line up here, and the tailback's here, and just working through it. But like you said, somebody said down there, you're dealing with teenagers. They haven't seen each other. They haven't been around. Football is such a camaraderie thing. They want to do the huddles. They want to do the high fives.
It's hard to do a breakdown like we're doing air high fives. We're doing air breakdowns.
Even our warm up. I made this. The coaches were making fun of me. I made this huge schematic. Of okay, so every 5 yards we're gonna have a kid, and then on the numbers every 5 yards, and the hash every 5 yards. So our warm up looks like we're spread out over the whole.
It's like setting up PE squads.
It is
for little kids. Like everybody sits here.
Yes, yeah, right. And and we're like, okay, we're going to do this exercise for 15 yards. Don't break the 5 yard barrier you have. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
To say the least. I don't know if I can handle that being a basketball guy.
Well, having say you're doing something like in basketball, you have a line for maybe we're doing free throws, or maybe we're doing 3-on-3, and you got something spread out. Well, which we can't do any of that yet.
Yeah.
But it's just different. You just got to try to get these kids to get used to being spread away from each other, and
It's tough.
And some of them hadn't seen each other since the March 17th.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to it's
hard. When we first got in the gym, which was a little bit ago, I'm trying to run around and tell the kids, listen, hey, no.
Wait,
You guys,
April?
I think it was April 1st.
we shut down on March 15th, and I think it was
March
17th. No, all joking aside, it's been a little bit. But we were trying to get kids. It's like, listen, you guys
No
need to spread out.
I'm sorry.
What do you tell all the other schools in the state that are getting to play right now?
Right.
Oh, we haven't even played a game yet.
Right.
Shut up. So here's the thing. We're trying to tell kids, listen, you got to be at your own basket. Stay away from it. And they're kind of like, well, really? Yeah. But we're in the gym. Nobody's going to know. I said, no, trust me.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay apart. Do that. So, do you have any kids with football, are they coming with any of them wearing, you said they were wearing masks.
Yeah, we wear masks now. When
Yeah,
we do our activity, we don't. You know, they don't, and we don't have to. You know, it's basically considered, and that's one of the reasons we stayed outside.
Yeah.
As long as you stay outside, you can maintain the social distance. You know, and it's better. Now next week we're going to hit the weight room, and so when we go in the weight room, the kids will have to wear their masks.
See, I didn't know because I saw, I can't remember, I guess it was in the Leader. They had a picture of one of the football players from R7.
Kobe Ott.
Yeah, and he had a mask on underneath his football helmet.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I feel about that.
Well, you know, and some of the companies like Rydell and Schutt have already come out with inserts for the insides of the face masks that basically go across the face mask. So it's like the eye shield that the kids wear to be hot dogs or protect their eyes. You know, but it's supposed to minimize that. But you know, then you're adding cost and
Yesterday we had a kid. So they don't have to wear contacts. You got to get that visor in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We issued helmets and had to get that visor in today. You know, so
you know, so it'll be interesting. You know, but again, you're talking about cost.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with schools that are getting their budgets cut. And you know everything else.
Question is then, so what's going to happen if we do have the season and we do get the games? We're going to have fans, and then if we don't, how do we play the ball games? Because isn't that what brings in the money?
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting. I could see them doing limited fans. You know, where they allow families.
Well, and I think that's where someone like Ray, I mean, live stream that comes into play. Then,
very much so.
You say live stream
Hello,
pay-per-view.
we're here. Come find us.
Giving them a little plug.
314-852-4398. We'll be there for
I
you.
thought you'd show you the phone number flashing on the screen
Hold
right
on,
now. Like
hold on. I can do that.
QVC commercials.
Give me a second.
Hey, if you call right now, you get one game free.
There it is. Sponsor with us.
For 1995.
Got a 30-second delay or something here. I'm going to see it pop up. It's going to be great.
Right.
But no, I think that's, I mean, to me, it's kind of like football practice at that point, and you're actually having a game. That's going to be completely crazy.
Yeah.
Just to think about that kind of environment, because you know, in a close game, not that I've seen a lot of close games in the time that. And we won't even talk about that. You guys will have a good laugh. We'll talk about it all later after the show. But anyway, it's just knowing that the kids get all pumped up for the environment, and obviously the fans, the crowd, third downs.
Oh, yeah.
And now you have none of that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, well, you're talking bands, you're talking cheerleaders, you're talking dance squads, you're talking all that stuff, you know, and
the revenue.
The revenue.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand.
I mean, you're going to have officials to pay for. You're going to have all. I mean, this is way above our pay grade, most of us, and then it's going to be interesting to see how we go from here. Looking at phase 2 and what we've been handed to us, it's getting a little better, but now you have Perry County, I think, shut down.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's scary.
It is scary because I mean, you know, you think about it. So, you know, you have a kid who comes down with it, or you know, gets it, and now you have to backtrack through, and you have to go back and see when they checked in, what group they were in. You have to then turn around and notify all those parents and kids. You know, I mean, you know. Example, my daughter plays select softball, and one of the other teams that's in our organization, they had a player get it, and you know, so they got shut down for 2 weeks. You know, they had to fall out of the tournament. You know, they had to all go get tested. You know, they had to wait for those tests to come back. It's just, you know, and so you know, like Jason said, you know, very likely you could be in the middle of a season, and you get shut down for 2 weeks.
Well,
or you play a team. You play a team, and now you're quarantined. You know.
Well, and I've been hearing, and I'm hoping they do it this way. I mean, if that kid gets it, that kid's sent home for 14 days, and we go on about our business, hopefully. And then when it gets to a certain point where there's a certain amount of them, then I'm sure they're going to step in and do something. But I mean, we're going to have to go on with life at some point, and I just can't see us. Well, we're at school for a week. Let's shut her down.
Yeah.
15 days, or
do you
let's
think
do
the pro? Do you think the pro, the NBA, the Major League Baseball? I mean, is that going to be a litmus test for high schools?
I really think it is because
that's scary.
Yeah, we're not going to have a bubble thing. So the NBA is kind of a little different for us.
Or a doctor for every kid.
Yeah, it must be nice. But what I think is obviously when you have more positive tests, it's because they're doing more
testing.
Now the other problem that I see is my cousin is a football coach at Sykeston, and his father-in-law, when he went to the doctor for just a random. I think he had to have he's diabetic, so he had to do something. He tested positive. Well, then they said, well, everybody's quarantining in your house. He actually stays with them, so he's supposed to be quarantined. This was a while back. They took him for a second opinion because he seemed asymptomatic. He come back negative. Well, they still wanted him to be quarantined. The health department did. He took him for another test. He came back negative. So he had a false positive. They still wanted to quarantine him, the whole family.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of different stuff happening, and there's nothing for sure. So I think, like you said, if it's one kid, then let's just isolate this one person until they come back obviously clear. To me, that would make more sense than just saying, okay, hey, we're shutting it all down.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get sick, there's going to be germs, but not everybody's going to be affected the same way, just like the flu, just like my immune system's different than yours and everyone.
Yeah,
so
Coach Gins was talking about the softball tournament. My son played in a basketball tournament a couple weeks ago down at Cape, and an employee that hadn't been there in a week tested positive at one of the sites. Well, they tested positive a week after they had even been there. They hadn't even been there for over a week. So the place had already been, disinfected and everything before the tournament started. And so we play our 2 games on Sunday. We're coming back. Every hotel in Cape is booked for this tournament. I mean, it was a huge basketball tournament. And they shut her down.
Yeah.
All those teams had to be refunded money. All those people spent all that money to be there. And it was a worker who got tested and hadn't been there for over a week. Yeah. So, I mean...
But and think about it. What if that was a false positive situation?
Yeah, like you said.
I mean, so now... And so we still have all this craziness happen. Or, it could be like, Major League Baseball, they forgot that the 4th of July was on the 4th of July. They didn't send off the test. Somebody's probably getting fired for that. Yeah. I mean, there might be a chance. Yeah. But... it's going to be. I think it's going to be kind of like you said, the litmus test. It's going to be the test run to see how this is all going to work. For sure. Hopefully, they screw up. They make all the mistakes because they're the ones who have the personal doctors and things. And we can get on with sports because, like you said, Jason, if fall sports doesn't happen. From a basketball coach's standpoint, it's like, oh, great, here we go. How's this going to play out? Because now it's inside. It's an inside sport, and we got more people. And
talk about what you said about the kids and the whole point of, coming to school because of sports. That's...
Oh, we talked about this off air, yeah. We got kids. There's kids walking the halls that sometimes the only reason why they're there and they're behaving is because of that sport they play. And some of them, you have to keep in sport every season.
Well, and it's accountability. It's accountability factor too. Just they're accountable to their teammates. They're accountable to their coaches.
No offense, they're not worried about what the American history teacher's saying a lot of times. They're more worried about what maybe their head baseball coach or basketball coach or football coach is telling them. And if they screw up in the classroom, then there's something there to hold on them. What are we going to hold on them if there's no sports?
Yeah,
that's what worries me. I can't imagine. I can name kids, and I just see faces that I've had in the past. They wouldn't have graduated high school if it wasn't for their football coach or their basketball coach or their baseball coach.
If I'd had a nickel for every time I've had to say, like, listen, you're letting the whole team down with what you're doing, and keeping that kid in line in the last 15 years of coaching sports.
Yeah.
To not have that, you're the same way. I can start reeling off names in my head that. Yeah, no, because it was the incentive for them. They might have just got through, but the fact that they got through was because they had the opportunity to play a sport.
Ken Jones a couple weeks ago thought he was a funny guy and from Crystal and posted on there. Well, it's still keeping Jarvis out of trouble that he's involved in sports. So
he knows you pretty well, right?
Yeah, so sports keeps some kids to get that education, and then. They can go on from there.
Yeah.
And some kids, their coach is the biggest father figure they have or the biggest mother figure in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the only one.
Not
just the biggest.
So here's I got a question for you. So, I keep hearing different things with numbers. So you look down at Perry County, and the estimates are about 1% of the population has got this. So they just shut them down for 2 weeks for 1% of the population. Now, I'm not taking away from that 1%, but is it a mentality thing? Is it are we that scared? I don't, Is it a lawsuit-driven society to the point where, you know, I mean, I hate to be that way.
That's a hard question for us to answer as educators all across here. But
yeah,
I mean,
but you know what I mean. So we're dealing with a 1%.
Yeah.
1%.
he's got it on the board.
See ya.
This is exactly the reason why. It's all about CYA.
Yeah.
And I mean, but and without joking,
It is.
It's 100%.
Can you decipher that for me? I'm not sure what that means.
Arse, cover your arse. Because I mean, in the one situation, it's kind of like when you call off school. We talked about this at length.
For snow days.
For snow days, the chance that it could snow and nothing comes on, it hits the ground, nothing's there, and they call off school, and everybody's like, "You gotta be kidding me, really?" But then there's that one time that they don't, and the bus goes off in the ditch, and someone gets hurt.
I'm sorry, I have to move your your championship trophy for a second.
Hey, Coach Miller, you know the school district that we used to have out at Grandview in McVeigh that you know when it rained real hard they'd call off.
Well, I mean, there's a district that neighbors around there that there was a hard frost. There was a good chance they're off school. But is it because of something like that? Is it because there was a parent who got angry, and when a school gets sued and for $1 million and they settle for $20,000? Not that I know those are not. I'm just making those numbers up out of my head.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm serious. That's a lot of money when you're talking about the teacher's salary. I mean, I'd like to have $20,000 extra dollars, or schools would like to have that for whatever.
You're talking about salary. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I can throw it out there. I don't care. I don't make a lot of money.
It's public knowledge if you want to look it up.
I mean, I'm almost $12,000 in my salary is coaching stipends. And so if we get all of those taken away, that's $1,000 a month out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And I don't do sports for the money, but I'm just saying
Still part of our livelihood.
it's part of my livelihood.
You don't
and
do it for the money?
No. That $1,000.
So that's why I got into teaching.
Well, yeah, of course.
Summers off, money.
It's funny. There's a comment here on the live stream here. John Thompson's a kid I coached at Crystal, and he's one of those kids that probably popped in my head when I was talking about.
He's from the dude out.
I'm going to call him out. He knows. He just said right there, you know, hey, Jarvis, you were a big motivator through high school. I mean, he was a kid that he needed sports to keep him going. Yeah. And I'm scared to see what it looked like. I mean, I've been involved in education since I was in kindergarten. I haven't been out of it since, and can't imagine not having sports.
My dad said, man, he hated school so much he just kept going back. Like literally afterwards. He's going to college and he's keep coming back.
With your dad, you sure it wasn't you just didn't want to work on the farm? So
That's probably true. That's exactly right
you
there.
kept going back to school.
You know what's funny is and Dave Crum says the same thing. He couldn't pay me up to be a superintendent. I mean, it's a hard job to be an administrator when it comes to making those calls. Now, we all can sit back and, throw popcorn from the cheap seats and just say, that's just the stupidest thing. Why would you do that?
You're darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Absolutely.
Really. No matter what, you go back to those snow days. I mean, it's the same thing. No matter what, half the people it's just kind of like coaching.
Yep.
Half the people are going to
be with you,
and the other half are not. I mean, that's kind of how it is.
But to answer your question, Mike, I think that's the thing, because it's all about that 1%.
Yeah.
That 1%'s the little bad apple that spoils the bunch, or how do you want to put it?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were trying to say, like, the 5 that are on the court, their parents love you, and then the rest, the other ones are
probably not. Probably not.
Confirm or deny that that's the case. Hey, at least in football, you get to play 11 kids at a time.
Right.
It's like, man, let's
go. You got special teams.
Oh, yeah.
There's 77 ways to get on the field in a high school football game. Folks.
There's 5. There's 5.
So here I got a question.
And if you don't
for
dribble,
yeah.
1.
So I got a question for you. Looking at our sheet here, so you got some states talking about flipping seasons.
Facebook, you've seen the memes, and whether it's down in Springfield, where I saw was from people down in the Springfield area saying, "Hey, this is a potentially positive idea." I mean, why not?
South Carolina is the one that I know, and I don't know if any other states have done it or looking into it. But to take all of your more contact sports and push them back in flip, like say with tennis, golf,
baseball,
track.
You could do those in the fall and then do basketball, but but maybe back. I think South Carolina's backing basketball up to January 1st, which sucks. And shortening the season.
Wrestling,
but I think wrestling would be with maybe even with football because there's so much contact per. But I don't know. But either way, but then having football as being the last one because it is all contact. So, I mean. From a standpoint of selfishness of me, I'm like, no, I don't really like that. But at the same time, if we can figure out a way to play a regular season, a regular season where these kids, and again, it goes back to how I feel about the kids who lost their spring season sports this last year. Anything we can do to figure out a way to just keep some form of normalcy, to me, is a win.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
like the idea. I really do.
I don't think it's terrible.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, even as a football coach, I don't think it's a terrible idea. You have so many states that do spring football already anyways. You know, I mean, they have spring practice.
Well, Texas is different. They do football all year round.
But even flipping your track season into the fall, I mean, it's not terrible. So
You just got blared.
I got
Yeah,
blared.
you hear the music out. I guess that means it's time to go to a break. We went a little long, but that's okay.
Hey, Blair mentioned we all had hats on, so Ken,
That's on.
And you know who's not wearing a hat tonight? Me. Figures, right?
Yep.
There it is.
well, I don't know if you consider Ginge as a hat, but I mean,
It's like hats.
That's a staple.
It's a hat.
That's a staple.
It's my Hinge staple.
oh, I
I
know
don't
it
even know
is.
if I've ever seen you with a regular hat
Even
on.
in the classroom, right?
All right, Ray, that's your cue.
There it is. There it is. We'll be right back.
Guys, I've always wanted to ask you this since you're both pitchers. What's your favorite pitch? It's a fastball? Okay. I know. It's a curveball. No? Okay, well, what's your favorite pitch? Oh yeah. Spitball.
The Main Street Sports Show. You never know what we're going to throw at you.
This live stream SDL has been a huge asset for Jefferson County sports, in my opinion. I mean, getting these athletes the camaraderie that they're out there and people can see them. I mean, to be honest with you, I got a call from a coach yesterday about one of my athletes that said that they saw some of her games on live stream SDL.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that right there instilled to me that this is important. This is important for those kids. And so, I think it's great, and I wish you guys the best. And if you're out there and you want to sponsor, this is a great opportunity for kids to support kids of our local kids and get them support and get them acknowledgement out there, because we have a lot of great athletes in this county.
We appreciate that. And at the end of the day, our mission is much the same as your missions, coaches, to help shine a light on these kids and get them exposure and get their name out there and help them. And if they can advance, they're better off, we're better off as a community, and that's why we're here.
Since their inception in 1980, SMCI has always been about high integrity and treating people the way you would want to be treated, just like family. Mostly known as a commercial contractor, SMCI has now decided to give the family treatment to everyone. They are now opening their residential department to the public as Home by SMCI, so everyone can experience the home treatment. Everyone deserves maximum comfort in their very own home. Isn't it time you come home? Contact SMCI at 636-337-4444 or on the web at homebysmci.com.
We'll tell you a little bit about a watch party that we just talked about today. We just posted this today. It'll actually be Thursday right here at La Pachangas in Herculaneum, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. If you're interested in watching Festus 253 take on Potosi, we'll we'll have the game here in its entirety, both games over here at La Pachanga. That'll be this Thursday, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock between Festus and Potosi, right here at La Pachanga, brought to you by Livestream STL. I want to thank Justin Neal, one of our sponsors here for, come on, there we go.
USA
Justin
Mortgage,
Neal at
the home
USA
of
Mortgage.
possibility.
Appreciate
Office
him
located in Festus,
being on.
servicing homeowners from St. Louis.
I'll just use this one instead. This will be a lot easier. Justin Neal at USA Mortgage, a home of possibility, located at 115 in West Gannon and Festus. Catch him at 314-287-4572 or festus.usa-mortgage.com. And if you're interested in sponsoring any of our upcoming broadcasts, games for baseball right now, we've got a great little special going on. We just added 5 games to the Ron Bone Tournament, and that'll be next Friday and Saturday. So if you're interested in sponsoring with us, it's $75 a game, or if you want to do all 5 games, it'll be $50 a game for $250 total. Check us out at 314-852-4398 or live stream STL at Outlook.com. Sponsor with us, and we already have an APB out for Riley Blair as we speak. So, would you like to talk to us a little bit more about that, there, Jason or Chris Miller?
Oh, I mean,
Where's Waldo?
I mean, it's Tuesday, and we haven't seen Riley here at the Herculaneum La Pachangas.
Riley's on vacation, and
So you say. I mean,
so,
he's not here.
well, you know, he
You
sent
just
me a
don't
photo from Florida, so I'm pretty sure he's on vacation.
Somebody's going to ransom out for him.
Have you seen me, Riley Blair?
They're probably paying somebody to get rid of him.
Oh, man.
Right?
Holy moly!
Wow.
Sam's probably already tired of him.
Your cable's in the way here. I'm
Yeah,
gonna push
it's
it
all
down
right.
here so we can actually see the cable. There we go.
All right, so we were talking a little bit about, I mean, because there's a plethora of topics that we can always cover with
Absolutely.
with football. But one of the things we were kind of talking about off air a little bit was the use of the point system and how that's applied obviously to high school football. I mean, from a basketball standpoint, I would love to see that applied, really, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of times where you go into districts and you see teams that have this really bloviated record, and they talk about how great they are, and then all of a sudden they really haven't played a whole lot of teams, and somehow they end up with a higher seed than some teams that may be more deserving. So, you guys are football guys. Why don't you all expound on this a
Do you
little
like
bit?
the point system, or would you
Yeah.
rather vote like all the other sports?
No, I actually like the point system. I think it's fairly fair. I think it was worked out. I've been through, and Coach Jarvis, has been through several too. Where we used to have the 4-team district, and then one person made it, and then you had the 4-team district, 2 teams made it, and then you went to there was just all these different things that they were kind of feeling out, and basically. The point system is okay. It does set up for some very tough games. I've been on the end of the 8 seed quite a bit at certain times. And that's a tough game
So
to go
have I.
play. To go play that 1 seed, and I've kind of been an advocate of maybe going to taking the top 6, and letting the 7-8 play. Because if you look at it historically, there's not many 7-8s that win.
I would just say, how 8s at all? I mean, has there been a 7?
No, but you're talking a scenario. So the people in Troy and Blue Springs South are probably rolling over their grave, because a couple of years ago Troy had a really good season. They were the 2 seed, and Blue Springs South over in the suburban conference over in Kansas City, where it's a death row. I mean, every year, every game you play is against a top-tier team.
And that's a big reason why they went to this point system instead of the, you had the 14 districts and only 1 team would go, and sometimes you would have maybe the state championship game or like to get into the state championship game in district.
That's any sport. That's any sport, though.
And then, like that year, Blue Springs South came over and beat them. They were the 7th seed. But you don't see that a lot. And there's a lot of coaches that, as the 8 seed, and you're starting to see it even more, they're forfeiting that game.
Well,
they're not even
80-0.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
So I would be open. I think I would be open to looking at hey, 1 through 6, they make the playoffs. 7 and 8 get to play week 10. You know, and make it competitive. You know, I mean, I hate to say that everybody gets a trophy thing, but you know, we all know.
But it's
one
football
team
safety.
Yeah,
When you think about it.
For sure. I mean, you know,
I've
traveled.
You don't think it's safe when Crystal goes down to Hayti or
man.
wherever they go and get their?
I mean, I've traveled to
that's what I'm saying.
Carruthersville.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been
I was
to
being sarcastic.
Okay.
I've been to Carruthersville on a couple 3-hour bus rides, and you're just like, you know, you're rah-rahing, and hey, you know, we're gonna go, and in the back of your mind, you're like, nah.
Or going
The
up
bus
to Cardinal
ride's
Ritter.
longer.
Cardinal Ritter. Yeah.
Bus ride's longer than the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cardinal Ritter.
Yeah,
I mean,
Herky played Cardinal Ritter like 4 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, you know, and so, you know, I know a lot of some of the backstory to get that extra week in the season that they worked for, and they succeeded, but I think that some things could be tweaked, you know.
I agree with what you say, though, about the safety thing, because look, as much as we want to say classifications, when you're talking about some of those schools like a Ritter or Carruthersville or a Lutheran North,
Valley.
well, yeah, Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm throwing it
I
out
know,
there.
I'm just saying, but we're talking guys they have players who are going to go and play Division I, Division II football, compared to kids that are just happy to get out of the house, away from their kids, their parents
to wear
are-
a jersey,
Yeah, they're like, I
honestly.
got a jersey. I'm not playing Fortnite tonight, and then they're playing those schools. We have a problem. Okay, I mean, at that point, I'm one of those guys that's like, hey, I want to go fight the bully. I want to go play the biggest
Sure.
schools. But that's at whatever point there's the crazy line is, and that might be a little crazy going and doing that all
and
the
you
time.
always hear, and this is kind of off topic, but you always hear people that complain about, oh, you know what, you're losing 80-0, get better. Well,
Yeah.
you know what, you can't really get 80 points better. It doesn't exist.
Well, and it causes teams like, and I don't mean to be a Crystal, but there's others that kids don't want to go out anymore.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
They won't want to go to Valley and get their butts kicked. They don't want to go to Hayti. They don't want to go.
I've heard
to
kids who want to quit right after that last game
Yeah,
before district.
before
Well,
district.
you get the mysterious injuries. You know, the kids go and they go to the doctor on Monday and they got a concussion. Well, you know, they make sure they have a concussion. You know,
Hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
but you know, it's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate because
You're right.
I would rather go play another game against a competitive team than forfeit.
Well,
And some of these schools are literally forfeiting.
and it's hard to build a program when you're getting you're getting slobber knockered every time. I mean, you know.
And the one benefit that I felt from the old
Slobber
system,
knocker.
you know, the one,
Spell that.
I can't. I'm sorry, Mike.
You've never heard that?
I
word.
have, but you know, my grandpa passed away a long time ago.
Football, man.
the one benefit that football had that other sports didn't was you could play a Week 10 game and win. And you weren't going on. You know, that was the old system. You know, and so you had some momentum to build on. And I know there was arguments from the basketball coaches and the volleyball coaches and some of these other coaches. Well, we don't get that same deal. I get it. You know, but you're in a tournament. You know, a tournament to me, at least there's a tournament option. You know, in football, you know, like we said, you're going to a state-ranked team and you have not won a game, and you're rolling into a school and you have 15 able bodies, you know, and you're playing a team that's getting ready to send, I don't know, 5, 6, 8, 10 kids to D1 schools. You know, where do you draw the line?
Well, it's just counterproductive at that point.
Yeah.
Just to
Yes.
even
Yeah.
do it. So I agree with you. I like the idea of using a combination of the two systems really to make it work to where you don't have to worry about those sort of things happening anymore.
And if you're up front and you know you got to make the top 6 to make the playoffs,
You got more incentive.
You got to make the
But other
top
states
6.
have that, right?
Yeah.
Where you have to either have a certain record or if
Yeah,
you do point to get in to get into the playoffs.
I mean, it is what it is, you know. But I think for the integrity of the game, moving away from that 1-8 matchup would not be a bad thing. I think I actually looked, and I do not think since we went to this system, I do not think there has been a 1-8 win yet. I might be mistaken. There might have been one, but I know a couple years ago when I was at DeSoto, and we were the 8 and we played Hillsboro, and we had the closest game in the state, 1-8, and it was a 13-point ball game. But that was like an anomaly. Like you're talking 50s, 60s, 70s. You know,
it's not going to happen unless like a bunch of kids get suspended or something
Correct.
crazy.
Well, I mean, in basketball,
most likely.
in basketball, even with the tournament set up, you have 16 districts in your class. There's not been very many 8 seeds beat the 1. I mean, I can only think of one off the top of my head. It was like a triple overtime game. I think the 1 seed had 3 kids that didn't play.
Yeah.
And that would be a situation where that's happened.
2 years we lost to Pius by 13, and that was probably one of the closest 1-8 seed games around that you could find.
Yeah.
I mean, I was happy when Park Hills, when I was the 8th seed, and they beat us by 20. I was like, yes. Of course, they were really good. And, well, Park Hills, they never mind. We'll leave that one alone.
Steer a different direction.
Yeah, it's like changing. I could jump into that one. I don't really want to. So with football, you have 6 classes of football.
Yep.
You have 8-man football. So almost like 7 classes of football in the state. Mike, you've seen this now. Misha is wanting to expand class sizes in other sports now. Basketball, we're going to 6. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I still think it's kind of weird because we could have – I'm used to having right around 8 teams in your district when you're talking about class 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4. But then as you get bigger schools, there's 6 teams in the district. I think it's going to be right around 6 per district, right around the state for classes 2, 3, 4, and 5. But now you have volleyball's adding, 1 class?
I think they already did last year.
Did they do it last year?
Cross country's adding.
Yeah, I mean, there's several sports that are going. I mean, what's your thoughts? Being the new guy, the guest, what's your thoughts on adding more classification levels to schools? I mean, I personally, I think softball in the spring is probably a good idea to have a couple more classes.
Yeah.
But to add more classes seems like we're kind of letting more people have the chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it in 2 sports. In football we have 6 classes. We got the 8-man football. And with football, the big talk has been, where do you start your break? Like right now, there's been an argument with the bottom 4 that 5 and 6 kind of got it easy. Because there's only an X amount. There's a much smaller amount of schools, and you got schools that got weeks off. They get the week 10 off essentially with a bye, and so I think they've been trying to potentially work that differently, where they've skewed the numbers a little bit. Track a couple years ago we added the 5th class, and that was interesting. But for track, for us, you had schools that were like anywhere from 900 to 3,000 running against each other, and you got 900 kids to choose from versus 3,000 kids to choose from to run track. That's a big spread, so there's pros and cons. A lot of people will say, well, it waters down. I get track people back when it was 4 classes. They're like, well, football's got like 18 classes, and you know what I mean? And
I might have said that a couple times, but it's okay.
You know what I mean? And basketball too. So, I don't know. I look at it in the competitive perspective, the numbers game. Where do you draw the line and break? In track when they went to 4 classes. We were still 4, and we were at Grandview. We got bumped to class 3 by 1 kid. And
we could have suspended that kid.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember being at sectionals, and I'm walking across the track, and the John Burroughs coach is talking about their pool workout on Monday, and they're going to do a cardio, biking workout, and I looked at 2 of my girls, the Acre girls, and I go, well, we're going to go down to Big River on Monday, and how do you compete with that?
There's definitely a disparity between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point when I was coaching track, we didn't have a track, and I was at Sturgeon. So when I try to remind people, it was like, yeah, you can do that. They're like, what, really? And when I had 3 kids qualify for state, and this was class 2, there were several schools. I can't remember which ones, but they were talking about the coaches, the training coaches that they have. There's like 12 people. It was me and one other person who were track coaches. Yeah. Like, listen, do you want to coach track? Yes. Okay, you can do it. I didn't know anything about track, but we had a good time.
Yeah.
It was. But to the haves and have-nots is definitely, there's a disparity.
I coached track 1 year, never thrown a disc or a shot in my life, but I coached them.
Oh, same here. I mean,
I bought the Thrower's Manual. That's what it was called, and I
Throwing for dummies.
basically
YouTube for throwers.
it was funny because we actually had an inclined parking lot that was completely concrete, and the light poles made an L. So and it was exactly 800 meters around, but we had to make the right hand turn.
Yeah.
So the kids would say, "What? This isn't going to make us better." I said, "Yeah, if you can make a right hand turn, you can make 4 less. We're great."
Yes.
And so it was kind of like, how can I get faster, run harder? I mean, it was just stuff like that. It was we had to
get better.
Yeah.
We had a thing of sand we jumped in too, so it was great for jumping.
Yeah.
But
We've got a comment from athletic director Don Jeffries here. It says number 7 or 8 seed has won a game in the last 3 years in class 1 through 4. Average scores: number 1 beating number 8 53.4 to 7.2, and number 2 beating number 7 48.7 to 11.7.
so you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. and unfortunately, that's what they keep going back to. They say there's a chance, but it's tough.
I don't think I'm going to see it in my lifetime if we continue doing this.
But we did think we'd never see it in the NCAA tournament.
Well, I mean, so
16 beat
one
the
time.
line.
So one time out of
Right.
how many games?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's like getting the winning lottery ticket. So everybody else is getting slaughtered,
Yes.
but you have that chance.
Did it.
I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, now with COVID, it might be a little different. The whole team might get wiped out, and hey, the 8 seed gets to move on. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But with different classes, I mean, it definitely opens the door, especially depending on where you fall. It is kind of exciting. I really wish Misha would come out with them not after the first week,
man.
which is ridiculous. And I don't know how I feel about the 1-year cycles of it. From a basketball standpoint, I always like to have district opponents so you can kind of match up.
Well, we kind of teeter our schedule so that
we all would play against each other. So I mean, that's different for
I
us.
didn't play. I mean, the people we've had in our districts recently.
That's true.
I'm not playing Cuba. I'm not. Well, now I am.
Yeah, you are.
And now I'm probably going to move to Class 4. So I mean,
And it's hard because it's the 2-year contracts,
Yeah.
so you can go
Yeah.
home and home. But I mean, you definitely, all the sports perspective, you want to be able to know who you're going to play earlier, so you can go out and schedule.
Well,
Yeah,
and I
and
know,
scout.
and I know this is on our docket somewhere, but you got the championship factor now. So that is going to be an entirely new ball of wax, for the things that go on and how that's factored. And, are you going to have teams that are going to tank a year? I mean, I hate to say that, but, are you going to have a team that might be like, well, shoot, we got bumped up. I don't know. I hate to say that, I don't know. But, I know, my nephews, they go to Valley, and I know Valley up here is the hated, and hated entity in sports. They're talking about bumping 3. They're going to go 2 classes because they're so successful. Some schools might come down.
But that's the whole competitive balance.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. If you need to go up, go up. If you need to go down, go down.
Yeah.
It's all about you want to build a program. It's the chicken or the egg. We've been there.
Yeah.
What do you do? Okay, here's your chicken or the egg. You got to get wins. Well, how do you get wins? You got to have players.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you get players? You got to get wins.
Yeah.
So what's the only thing we can control as a head coach?
Yeah.
Our schedule.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. So, I mean, I know being at Pius and being at a private school, so I know here everybody's starting to grin now. I mean,
I don't know why he's looking at me so
because
bad.
you're the one who's always dogging about it. Were you at Pius this weekend too? by the way?
Hey, I was texting him when I was watching the show last week.
Yeah, trust me. It seems like it's just and it's fine. I mean, I got broad shoulders for a reason.
My daughter was in your gym
Yeah,
this week.
you were there too.
She's actually there right now.
Is she really?
Yeah. No. She doesn't value her education.
You took the words out of my mouth too. So, the funny thing is I think with the multiply. Dang it, I got blared.
I did it on purpose.
I know you did. Don't worry.
I was actually doing that towards Jarvis.
Don't
but
worry.
After he said
I'm
that,
gonna use profanity. Think about that. Beep.
This is a family show.
There's no dump button. We've already learned this. Anyway, go ahead, Ray. If you want to do it, go ahead and go to break. We're running behind.
Are you sure?
Yeah, if you want. I'll talk if you want.
Okay. You give me the option. I'm going
He's
there,
going
buddy.
to break. He's like, heck yeah, I don't want to hear you talk.
We'll come back with our final segment and trivia. We'll be right back.
I wonder what Coach Jarvis is up to.
Jason! Jason! What's up? What's up? Man! Oh, hang on a minute. I got a call from Blair. What's up?
What am I doing? I'm sitting here watching the Coach's Box.
This must be a wrong number.
What you guys do for Jefferson County sports, it doesn't go unnoticed by the coaches in all sports.
Yeah,
all
I appreciate
sports.
that.
You know, I have a lot of friends that are head, basketball coaches, and I've been, of course, around Jefferson County all my life and followed all kinds of sports, even before I got into the coaching. So what you guys do to help promote it with the kids is unbelievable, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
For you guys to take your time and what you do is awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, we try, we work hard, and we think they deserve it. The kids deserve to be able to be seen, and if we can turn out kids in the community to better them, get them in college, and make them a better citizen, that's the key. USA Mortgage, the home of possibility. Offices located in Festus, servicing homeowners from St. Louis to Cape Girardeau. Contact Justin Neal at 636-385-5232 or check him out on the web at festus.usa-mortgage.com.
Where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? There's the game. Livestream STL, now available on Roku.
I'll tell you about our Jeffco Diamondcast watch party this Thursday right here at La Pachenga's in Herculaneum. Festus will be taking on Potosi, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. This is a doubleheader, so come on out to La Pachenga's. You'll get 15% off of your bill, and I'm sure Joel here at La Pachenga would love to have you here. He'll have the Roku going on here, again, at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. Our watch party, our Festus Diamond Club taking on Potosi Thursday at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock right here at La Pachenga. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring some of our upcoming baseball games with Livestream STL, you got to give us a call here at 314-852-4398 or livestreamstl@outlook.com. And again, don't forget, we are always right here at La Pachenga Mexican Restaurant here in Herculaneum. Come on out for our Coach's Box segments here. If you're interested in checking out La Pachenga, you can go to lapachengamex.com or call 636-475-4888. Great folks here at La Pachenga. We appreciate them having us out every week here. And we are going to open up our last segment here as we roll here to finish things up here. We've got some questions going on here. We're going to do kind of a lightning round of some questions here we've talked about, and we'll have trivia here. So take it away there, Coach Miller.
All right, so we're going to kind of throw out some football questions since you guys are the gurus of football. And
gurus.
Yeah.
All right.
McVay, you were undefeated 2 years in a row, I believe.
2 years covered. He hung 2 banners.
Yes, he did. I just coattailed on one of those because, I needed the stipend and jumped in there.
Excellent defense.
I guess.
Best D coordinator.
I got to put this up here. Somebody just posted this. This is the best show you guys have ever had so far, probably because Blair's not here. We're sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's
cold. I was kind of thinking that.
Is that your brother, David Jarvis?
Is that who put it?
That's who put it.
Oh, yeah, that's my brother.
Oh, man, stirring it. Stirring it a little bit.
That is awesome.
Having a little fun here on the Coach's Box.
Yeah, we never do that.
Man, Blair ain't never coming back.
It's like, you guys rip on me 13 or 14 more times, I'm out of here.
I'm not going to be here in a week or so it's going to be ugly.
Oh, man, we'll just get your brother to sub in for you.
We should.
Right, I'll go first. Okay.
Wait, I'm asking you guys.
Not me. These guys.
Oh.
Hey, anyway, here's my first question. I love option football. Where is it? How come we don't see that more in the high school game? Speed option. Why don't we see that more in the high school game?
It's coming back. I think it's coming back. I think high school football likes to follow the trends, and the hot trends was the spread. I think it's working its way back. I think you're going to start finding teams that are going to come back to it in a new fashion. But the idea, and you're going to have a generation of coaches that don't know how to coach against option, and I think some of the guys are going to start to realize that, hey, this is a good way. You got the RPO system. That's an option. Obviously, you just got. I think it's going to be back. It's just going to be a little different. But I think it's it's going to be coming back.
I think teams have veered away from it because teams are going more to a spread to get more kids out. And when you go to option football, your quarterback's got to be able to take a hit.
Yeah,
your quarterback's got to be able to run the football. And I'm not seeing a lot of teams doing those types of things. Teams are spreading out, a little more finesse on offense than it used to be. And like he said, I would think if you come up against a team that runs option, I mean, heck, we used to run it when I was at Festus, and Aaron Fish is one of the best quarterbacks ever I've seen run the option. And I can remember at Herky's football field when we were playing Herky, he's standing in the end zone for a touchdown, and they're blowing it dead on the dive on the veer, And I haven't seen too many teams run it. I mean, Webb City used to run it all the time and still do. So, I mean.
Well, then what's the percentage of, if you're going to go spread, what's your percentage of pass and run that you're starting to see in high school? Because like I said, where I've been, some, different philosophies or, seeing other philosophies, we want to be a spread team, but we want to be a running team out of the spread.
I think, honestly, from a standpoint of that, most spread teams really want to run the football. I mean, you look at Jackson and even Judd down at Valley. If you really were talking to them, and even when I've coached against them, they want to run the football.
Okay.
And if they can run the football down your throat, they're going to do it, and then they're going to use the pass. But and depending on your kids though too.
You gotta have somebody who can throw the ball.
If you got somebody that can chuck it,
Well, and I know when you were at Grandview and I was at Crystal as the D coordinator over there, we used to have to – I mean, we had some good games against Crothersville, and they would spread you out, but it was spreading you out to run the football.
Yeah.
And they made you – but then all of a sudden they're going to chuck one deep, and their cats are better than your cats, and they can run behind. And so
Absolutely.
So a lot of spread teams will try to run the football like your good Valleys, and some people say, I don't have any offensive linemen, so I'm going to try to run the spread.
Now listen, if you only have like 1 or 2, 3 good offensive linemen, Coach McVay, this question's for you. So if you only have 3 kids who can block and 2 kids who really can't, what do you do when you, instead of running to the right all the time, how do you run to the left?
You flip them.
And that was the key to the undefeated middle school season.
You flip them,
yeah.
And our kids probably went through puberty before the other kids.
Yeah, that did help.
When we're running out kids.
So Brian's on here watching. Oh yeah, he knows this a little bit.
So you had a strong sideline and a weak side, basically.
Very much so.
A big and a fast, right?
Right. So the center was, he wasn't very big, and then we had a couple of bigger kids on the right side, and then a couple of kids from one of the neighboring schools, one of our feeder schools, because we got co-op. And when we wanted to run to the left, we just flipped the line.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what we did. It was the greatest thing
That's
ever.
funny.
I said, really? Did other teams do this? And he's like, no. But we're going to do it.
I've seen teams do it, but they also ran to the weak side some too.
Yeah, no. If we were gonna run, if we did, it was by accident, and I was just kind of
Stopped and went
yeah,
around.
just like whoa, Barry Sanders style, go this way. Yeah, that happened. What do you guys think? I'll jump in now. What's the best defense that you feel is best for high school? We'll start with you, Jason. You're right here.
You're going to start with me?
Yeah,
on
why
that?
not?
Well, I mean, I'm a four-front guy, but football's changed so much over the years. 4-2-5 is what a lot of people run. I mean, you can defend the run, but you can also defend the pass. But he even has a question on here about two high safeties. At some point, you're going to have two high safeties. So, to me, you have to have something that's multiple, something you can get into several different fronts, several different looks. You may run the same coverage out of every one of those looks, but you're in a different look, making the other team thinks you're in something different when you're really not.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, and I'm a forefront guy too.
I knew he was a forefront guy.
I am. I was a 3-front guy at one time, but it was a lot of basically just I didn't have a lot of kids, so we just tried to blitz everybody from everywhere.
Yeah, you brought the house.
Yeah, just had to bring them just to even stay in the game. But I'm a forefront guy, and you see a lot of the 4-2-5 these days. It's basically a old school 4-4. People, you'll have arguments. I know Coach Fox and me and him had heated arguments. I'm like, it's just an old school 6-2. You just got outside linebackers instead of DNs. He's like, no, it's a 4-4. So it's a fun discussion, but you see a lot of 4-2-5 trying to cover up offensive linemen and let your dogs inside eat. So,
I mean, when I ran a defense, I wanted my front line. I didn't care if my linemen made plays.
Nope.
I wanted them to take up the offensive linemen, create double teams so that my two studs, my two best players are those two middle linebackers, and they're going to go run and make my plays.
Yep.
And I was lucky when I was at Crystal. I had several kids that could do that at middle linebacker, and we ran a lot of 4-3 when I was at Crystal too, because I had some safeties that were basically linebackers. I would put them at 8 yards. They just sat there and read the tight end or the tackle, and that guy blocked down. He knew it was a run, and he was running the alley and filling it.
You had some dudes.
We had a few years where we had some dudes, and I could run. I mean, one year we went down to St. John and actually beat St. John. Crystal did, and the first 8 plays of the game, when we were on defense, I was in a different front in all 8 plays. And one of them, I dropped my defensive end. We're in a 3 front. We dropped him in the coverage, and he picks a pass off in the flats. I mean, it's all about your dudes. I mean, if you don't have a lot of dudes, you may run a 4-4 cover 3.
But, I mean, to me, especially to get, like you said, the double teams, you got to have somebody who can command double teams, and then now you start having your mismatches, and it opens up those lanes.
If you can't command double teams, you got to put them in positions to create double teams, whether that's slanting, whether that's putting them in a shade. I mean, we hardly ever line head up. At Crystal, I was lucky enough. I had a couple big kids. I just put them in 2s, which is head up on a guard.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Okay. I didn't know.
I read that football for
I
dummies.
I saw your commercial, so I didn't know.
Play a lot of Madden.
And if you have two interior guys that can clog up that middle and play both gaps, that's awesome. But there's not too many guys that can do that anymore.
Well, let me ask you this and flip it. Go to the offensive side.
Yep.
Now, I know, like I said, I know it's different junior high going in high school, but would you double team? And I mean, would you prefer trying to get first level into the second level, try and get the 3 yards cloud of dust? How much different is it? So basically what I'm trying to say is if you deuce block and then chip off, go to a backer, aren't you going to go get 3-4 yards if you do that?
Yeah, and you're just basically getting into the concept of zone blocking versus your double team down blocks, and I've coached both, and the difference I think sometimes you run into for middle school versus high school is the ability of the backers and how well they read and how much more apt they are to stick their nose in the hole, and so but you do have those cloud of dust teams, and not taken away from them, Hillsborough for years now has been a cloud of dust team. I mean, we played them. They were struggling this last year, and we played them for their homecoming, and they literally lined up in double tight, power-eyed look. Coach Freeman did a fantastic job kind of switching his scheme, and they just pulled a couple kids and they just flooded one side over and over and over again, and they lived with the cloud of dust there, and they maintained the clock, and they wore us down, so it just kind of depends on what you have the ability to do. Again,
it depends on your kids.
They had some dudes, they had a lineman that when we went back and kind of watched the film, we were like, well, shoot, they just were putting him wherever they wanted, and our film wasn't, our sideline wasn't working very good, but he was doing a fantastic job,
So if you don't have the dudes, you go spread, or would you rather
or you
run,
can go cloud and dust? I mean,
well, because here, I see this, and like I said, I don't know a lot, but when you add the quarterback as a potential blocker, or he's going to be that runner, now it's 6-on-5 your guys, or 7-on-6 your guys, and you're always going to have that mismatch. When you're our 7 did it a few years back. Like I said, Hillsboro.
Yeah.
Now, you can maybe when you get down into the playoffs and everybody's 6'2", 250, maybe that's a completely different story.
We got to get there.
Right. But right. But, I mean, would you prefer that type of an offense? I mean,
I think it's all in what you're looking to do and the kids you have. And, we're looking to move to a more running-based offense at Oakville than I've been, a part of at DeSoto. And it's a little bit more of schematically, some of the things that Festus has done for the last few years. R7 does. It's a little spread out, but
Gibbs might agree because he's been a D coordinator all the time, a lot of times, and I want an offense stay out there as long as possible.
Yeah.
As little as my defense has to play, the better off my defense is going to be.
Yeah.
And if an offense can go on a 14-play drive and score,
that's
awesome.
You out.
Oh, yeah.
And
wears you out.
There's not – I used to be a bend, don't break on defense, and I would want to make a team go 14 because there's a lot of high school offenses that can't go on 14-play drive. They're going to make a mistake at some point. They're going to put the ball on the ground. They're going to put the ball in the air, and it's going to get picked. And I guess it's just your philosophy and what your kids can do. And, we can't argue with what Rugley's done out at R7, and they've done a lot of they're going to pound the ball at you.
Bill or Brian and Lee at Hillsboro.
Yeah.
Shoot, they racked up some dubs.
So let me ask you this. We'll kind of tie into this question. Would you rather have a specific lifting program where you guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger, or would you rather have that football IQ? You got a guy that's strong as an ox, but left or right, I don't know. Or would you rather have the football IQ that might be a little, Chris is over there.
But Coach, if you make the L with both hands, I swear to God that happened. But go ahead.
What do you prefer?
I like the kid. I think that you can work around the lack of football smarts to an extent.
Take the thinking away from the kids.
Yeah, but you have to have a kid that's in shape and has built his body up, because the one thing you can't coach at all is strength and physicalness. You roll a kid out there that's 6'3", 275. You can't coach 6'3", 275. We had a kid at DeSoto, for a couple of years. He was 6'7", 315 and was a monster. You can't coach that. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna, but he was big, and he was strong, and he did things, and he might not, and that not necessarily that kid, but that type, that kid might not really grasp football, but you can put him in a position and say, let's be simple.
Hey, let's line you up in a 1, and
your job is this.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on it.
How has teaching tackling changed over your career?
We've at Herky, when Coach Hunter came in, we switched completely to like the Seattle Seahawk type of tackle, and that was what he had learned at DeSoto.
Which tell us about that.
Well, it takes your head out of it.
It's all about taking your head out of the game.
It's taking their head out of the game. You're having a problem now of concussions. Like I would hate to get a scan of my brain right now. I mean, because
oh my gosh, what a fun segment that would be.
What would that not be?
CTE.
Wow. There is some CTE up here.
Look at the pictures of Jarvis's brain scans. God, that'd be great. And in this area, nothing.
Not here or here so much, but right here.
Yeah. Possibly.
It's okay.
It's a rugby-based tackle. It's what the rugby players do. They've been doing it for years. Pete Carroll in Seattle did a bunch of research. They've gone completely to this. They've developed equipment to help teach it. We have tackling rings now. Just there's new equipment. You used to be you always heard bow your neck. Stick your face mask in their chest.
Get your head across to the ball.
Head across the ball. All these things, and we just have gotten away from it. It's a tackle. It's a wrap and roll is what it is. It's a attack the leg, whichever side your head's on, you roll that way. You just wrap the legs and roll them down.
Yeah, so no bull in the ring.
No bull in the ring.
We don't get to do that anymore.
No,
we didn't. We didn't either.
No.
That was playing 25
You mean you
years
guys were
ago.
doing bull in the ring back in the day? All right.
We did when I played.
I know I did too.
So let me ask you this, and this is kind of a personal question. So my son's going into junior high, okay, and I had the feeling of I didn't want him playing football in the JFLs or the Little Leagues or Pee Wee, whatever, because of teaching proper technique.
Sure.
So if,
It's a great question.
If you're going to, if you're going to talk to parents out there, what's your opinion on, are they doing it right with the youth football leagues? Are they? I mean,
they have that program, the
USA football.
Yeah, safe whatever. There are good youth coaches out there. I didn't play a lick of youth football in my when I was a kid. I was one of the biggest kids my age when I was younger.
Shocker.
Anyway, so I had a lot of dads that would ask my dad to play. Hey, he needs to play. We need to play. And I didn't play a lick of it. My brothers didn't. We all went and played. We all had college offers. Me and my brother Michael both went and played college football. I don't think you have to necessarily play JFL. I didn't even let my own son play until 6th grade because I wanted to make sure. I knew the coaches. I felt comfortable with who was coaching. So I let him play that 6th grade year. Plus, I was worried about whether he wanted to play or not. Yeah. But there are some good youth programs out there. Now with concussions, I was worried about that with my kid too, and I didn't want him to get concussioned out in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade and not be able to play in high school because he's already had 3 concussions. And
a lot of it too is how much involvement of like maybe the high school staff is involved. How much are they reaching out and teaching? Because you might have a program where the high school staff doesn't want to get involved. They look at their time and how valuable it is to them, and that's just another step. But then you have some coaches that do the clinics and try to teach and put stuff out there, and are very, very involved. And again, just like he said, you have some really, really good youth football coaches. You have some guys that are trying to relive their glory days, and the glory days were awesome, but it's not football these days. It's just not.
And from a basketball standpoint, speaking, I mean, it's the same thing. It's maybe not the safety necessarily, but if you have a lot of these guys who want their kids to play 7,000 AAU basketball games in a summer, and they're not teaching them stuff that they need to teach them how to properly take care of their body, they can get hurt too. Injuries, the legs, and different stuff. But it's the same thing. If I had a son, I would say I would want them to play football because I think there's so much they can benefit from it. But I'd only want them to play for somebody who's going to teach them the right thing. Now, the other thing I would tell them is this: you play football, you make money. Like Coach Ginge's boy, PM15, getting $400 million. I mean, that right there, that takes care of Dad. I'm set. I got a house. Bills are paid. That would be the
Oh,
incentive
baby.
too to play.
Oh, baby.
Richest guy in sports right now.
Oh,
Besides
baby.
like Lionel Messi or somebody.
Yeah,
Maybe LeBron
right.
has more money. I don't know. That's a lot of money to make.
That's it. I'll tell you this. I was very, very happy.
Yeah, because
I
you're a
was
true blue Chiefs
I
guy.
am a Chiefs fan, and
No.
there was lots of me and Coach Mitchell and Coach Fox were having some awesome yay texts back and forth because and here's the thing with that deal too, and a lot of people are looking at the money. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I feel like he really tried to structure that deal for the Chiefs to be successful. There's a lot of there's just it's a very uniquely worked deal that you don't see a lot of times, but you have to kind of read into it. People say, "Oh my God, he just bankrupted the Chiefs," and I think this year I saw the salary cap hit was like $30,000. It's so minimal, or maybe 300,000. I don't know. It's not much.
2 years. I think he's still on the old
Well,
contract.
yeah,
for 2 years.
he signed an extension,
He
so he's
did.
still on the rookie deal
Yeah,
now.
but
it kicks in.
He was very adamant as a Chiefs fan. He was very adamant that I don't want to bankrupt I don't want to make it to where we can't be competitive. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but he the way he structured his contracts, he made it so New England could win.
Yeah.
Can you in football, NFL, can you defer like Bobby Bonilla?
Oh my
Can
gosh!
you do that?
I don't
Bobby
think so.
Bonilla. Look at
How
how
awesome.
smart his
Well, because
his
it's not
agent
guaranteed
was.
contract.
Yeah, they're not guaranteed contracts. Yeah.
Yeah,
That guy looks so. I mean,
probably back in the day, they're like, "Man, what are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know. It seems like a good idea." Then, and so we have Bobby Bonilla Day, which is
2035 is that what it is?
That's what it is. That's
$1
exactly-
million every year for the. I mean,
well, the contract wasn't even
1.5,
worth that much.
something like that. Yeah, right.
So I mean, that's the crazy part about it is he should have been paid off a long time ago, but the way it's structured and then
That's awesome for him.
inflation. I
Yeah.
mean, wow, what a smart guy. I didn't really think Bobby Bonilla was like the smartest dude.
So
but-
we missed a question. I'm going to jump in because
Sure.
I want this is a little while, and it goes back to high school football here.
Sure.
The NFL will be testing 3 times a week. How often will the high school coaches and players be tested? Does anybody know the answer?
There really
to that?
is no testing.
and
It is a survey. Like some schools are doing waivers, so parents are signing waivers. Basically, releasing the school saying, we understand there's risks. We are basically, when a kid signs in for us at Oakville, they have to initial that they're symptom free. And we're basically telling them if you have any symptoms, stay home. You know, and I think that's the way school's going to be. I think it's
too much. You can't even get a test unless you meet certain criteria. So I could say, man, I've been having a headache, I've been sneezing, I've been coughing, blah blah blah, and they still may say I'm not. The availability of tests are so hard to come to. To get.
I know RAD just bought like one of the thermometers for foreheads, and it's crazy.
We're putting it on the parents. I mean, basically, if your kid's not feeling well and running a fever, they're supposed to check before they come. And if they're not running a fever, then if they're there, we assume they're not.
I mean, that's
symptomatic.
That's what we're going to have to do. I mean, and I'm not a football guy, but I think it's going to carry over into all sports. We're going to say, okay, you don't have any symptoms. If we have to do temperature checks, and we're going to assume that they're fine when we get them, and that could be totally different in a day or when a couple days down the road, a week, and it's like, oh, well, they tested positive.
I still don't see schools
Don't
doing
know.
that.
I was
saying we're going to do the temperature check.
I was
'cause it's
very
gonna be
upfront
on
with my
them.
kids too. I said, if you got symptoms, just tell me you're staying home, and it's a different world because, you want the accountability. So you're hoping, and I kind of told the kids, listen, this is a give or take here. Like, you can't abuse it, but
You can't be sick with COVID for the next however many tough practices
right.
until you get September and it cools off.
105.
Yeah. Oh,
heat
wait,
index,
Tomorrow's leg day. I'm out.
Yeah.
Squat day. I'm out.
But that's,
Gately Day.
Yeah, and that's also with the parents. We were going back and talking about being able to go to the games. I know I've seen different people posting online about basketball tournaments and the select and the AAU. Well, fans are in the stands with the mask. Maybe that's something that the parents and the communities are going to have
We'll have to have somebody who's a lot smarter than us come up with that stuff. I mean, we barely know enough about X's and O's right now.
Right.
We don't need to talk about medical stuff. We know enough about it.
One final question I'll ask, and then you guys can do what you want, and then don't forget we still got to do trivia.
Well, I know. That's why I think me and Jarvis over here are getting ready. He wants to
Here it
beat
is.
me.
Here it is. Okay, so this is from Jeff Whitener. Coach Ginge doing a great job. I'd like to hear more about the Oakville Tigers football team for the fall. And aside from the virus, what are some of the biggest challenges taking over a Suburban Conference program?
Coming into the Suburban Conference, it's learning your new opponents. It's learning and dealing with a much greater amount of kids. I think in the last few years, stepping back from head coaching and then, kind of learning and being a part of DeSoto's program, I give tons of credit to Chris Johnson. When he came into DeSoto, he had come in from Texas and he had been there and just picking his brain and listening to what he had done and been a part of a bigger program, at Guyer, Texas. And, he kind of rejuvenated me in learning a lot of stuff. We're actually looking at doing a platoon system up there, which, you don't hear a lot of that down here. Where we're platooning our coaches and our kids are going to be platooned. They're going to play one side of the ball. We got 80 kids signed up. So, I just looked at the system and I'm like, okay, well, I can have 22 kids active and 60 kids watching, or I can have, how do I manage that? So it's a management, from a management scheme, learning new opponents. For the Suburban, it's tiered now, so that's a little different. It used to be regional, and they've gone to this tiered system. So we've struggled a little bit there. So we're playing against other teams that have struggled. So it'll give us a chance to maybe get back on our feet, get some dubs, and hopefully, like Fox, they've moved up. Yeah. So they're in the next tier up because they've been successful. So
I got a question for you on that.
Yeah, go.
So you're going to platoon, which, I'm good. If I'm your D coordinator, I'm going to be arguing because I'm going to be wanting somebody. What are you going to do with that kid?
Yep.
That kid that needs to play both.
Yep, I've got an answer for you. So
I just wanted to throw it out there.
No, and actually I got this from Chris Johnson too, because they platoon at Guyer. But you have those exceptional kids. You have those kids that you have to have, and we're gonna have flip days. We're gonna have a day where they're gonna flip to the other side that they need to play. Basically ours is going to be Wednesdays. So they're going to be on their primary on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Oh, so Wednesday, if I'm an O lineman, I'm going to get to play some D line.
You're going to go play D line. Yeah, and those kids are going to know, and they're going to be responsible for coming in for some extra meetings, staying after practice, working through some of those things. But we talked about that, and we have a plan, and obviously every plan is not perfect.
I wasn't trying to call you.
No.
I've been a part of a program where they wanted to platoon, and you had that one stud that he needed to play.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I had to have him out there at D-back.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it! I don't care if he carried the rock 30 times. He needs to be out there, and he needs to guard that guy wherever he goes.
And we've talked. You talk about Goofy on the defensive side. You kind of talk about your one side of the 50 defense, and you talk about your other side of the defense.
Oh, there you go.
50 defense. So. I've had some really good conversations with some coaches that have done it for a long time. Zoomed with multiple coaches over in kind of the west side of the state where you see it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And just pick their brains. So I feel like going in, we have a good plan. Obviously, COVID could throw that in a wrench in it. Injury could throw a wrench in it. But hopefully, our kids, we take an average kid and he practices the same spot every day and he's with the same coach and they see him all the time. Hopefully, they become a little bit better. Where maybe they just instead of getting buried on the depth chart,
Well, heck yeah! If you got the numbers,
Hey, we're gonna be positive that we're having a season. We're not gonna bring any clouds here. All sunshine and rainbows.
This wasn't a cloud. This was just a good question.
I appreciate it.
It was good. It was good.
But anyways, so we're excited. Yeah, we're excited.
Only cloud I'm worried about is the cloud over Pius basketball.
But anyway. Stop it. All right, call it now.
We got to have some fun. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You guys are all dialing up, but we got some trivia.
I want to kick his his butt is what I want.
Are you guys
You
ready
have
for
to show
trivia?
your trophy because this is the last
Yeah,
time.
here it
you're
is.
gonna have
Okay, here it is.
Traveling trophy.
What if I steal it? Do I have to bring it
Yeah,
back?
you got to come back on the show. So
We're still looking for a
We'll
name
be
for the
firing
trophy,
Blair.
right?
Blair might stay another week.
We're still looking for a name for the trophy.
Yeah, I know. Nobody's wanting to. We have one, the Cranium Cup. I think it was
There
Coach
you go.
Rissler.
All right.
So we might just go with that since none of you losers wanted to say anything.
Cranium?
Gosh, I thought for sure like Sam or somebody would, or Terrell Lynn would jump in and call it something funny for us. But oh well.
Nope, no luck.
No luck.
All right.
Are we going to a break now and then?
No, we're gonna
Oh,
we're
he
gonna
just
go
got
into
the music going.
I know. I was like,
I'm just
oh,
gonna
yeah.
give us some mood music.
I'm gonna sit over here in the corner so you guys can.
Oh no! Come on.
Yeah, this is how we're supposed to take
All
our.
right. Give me
take
just
our
a second
test
here. I
right
gotta
here.
pull this up here and.
Get boards this time.
Right.
This is how Coach McVay teaches his classes. Hold your
Yeah,
answers up.
that's a number 7 on the evaluation.
I know exactly what it is.
Yes,
It's all about
it
engagement.
is. Engagement.
Engagement.
Full engagement.
All right.
I learned that after taking some master's classes.
Are you ready for
What are you a
some
master
football?
of?
Are you ready for some
Next
football
question.
trivia?
Yeah, here we go. Football
Okay,
questions.
Here we go. Question number 1. Who is the winningest coach in NFL history? You got four answers.
Oh shit!
Is it Don Shula? Is it Tom Landry? Is it George Halas? Or is it Bill Belichick? Do we have answers?
We got time.
Are you ready?
Say it again. What are the choices again?
The choices are Don Shula, Tom Landry, George Halas, or Bill Belichick.
Chuck Noll.
Chuck Noll is not on that list. Sorry. So let's
Jimmy
go ahead and we'll
Johnson.
go ahead and flip your
I
answer.
think he has stakes, but I'm not sure.
Don Shula.
I knew it.
Don Shula is correct.
And him out. And him out.
That's
So
right.
everybody's got a point except for Mr. McVay.
You are the biggest sandbag. You're like, I'm never
Yeah.
winning anything trivia. You've barely gotten anything wrong.
I got the one that counted, Virginia.
yeah.
Gosh dang it.
All right. Question number 2. What is the required amount of years a player must be out of high school before being eligible to play in the NFL? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Ooh. Right.
This is a good one. I want to thank Riley Blair for giving
You better
me
be
the
flipping your
questions
phones
tonight.
over because people are chiming in.
Oh,
Disqualified.
oh, I didn't even look until you said that.
I looked down after the last question after we showed
And
it. I'm
Shula
like,
was on
it
there.
was all over
All
the
right.
board.
Yep. Well,
What
what do
is
we got
the
on this one?
What is the
Asterisk,
required amount of
asterisk.
years? The required amount of years a player must be out of high school before being eligible to play in the NFL. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
All right, you ready?
All right, let's go. Here we go. 3, 3, 3, and 3. 3 is correct.
Yeah, bang.
All right, so everybody's got a point
Trying to
except
think about Mike Vick.
everybody's got
That's
2
what I was
points
trying to
except for Coach McVay.
Coach McVay is.
All
I
right,
got one. I had 3.
I got one.
No, you didn't get Shula.
No, I didn't
Hey,
get
Shula.
No.
Mrs. Coach McVay just even chimed
Oh,
in with
gosh.
3 on that one.
Hey!
Hey. Question number 3. Who is the only Hall of Fame quarterback that is left-handed?
Ooh.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
Do I get points for writing it down already?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back. Well, just answer the guy's name. Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson, Cam Newton, Joe Montana, Joe Montana, or Steve Young. Who is the only Hall of Fame quarterback that is
I already answered it
left-handed?
before.
Already
Any
had
choices?
And go ahead. Throw me your answer. Steve Young, Steve Young, Steve Young, Steve Young. Correct.
I thought you were going to throw like Ken
You were
Stabler.
named-
or
That's what I
something.
was thinking.
I was like,
Stabler.
Stabler was it?
How
No.
is Lamar Jackson a choice?
I mean,
in
he's
the
in the
Hall of Fame.
Fame.
No,
Well, it's
Blair.
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 It is Blair.
it's a basketball guy.
Yeah, girls
now,
basketball,
hey
too. Yeah, you've already missed one.
David, hey,
Touche.
your brother said Stabler. Kenny Stabler. All right. Last question. Which team did John Madden of the Madden NFL fame win a Super Bowl with as a head coach?
Okay, can we show our answers?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do we get choices at this point?
Oakland, the Raiders. Yeah, it is the Raiders. Okay.
Good job.
All right. So we've got that's our first 4 questions.
Oh, we got another set
So
of them?
everybody's got 3 except for McVeigh.
Are tied.
And I'm out.
And
So he's out.
you are the weakest link.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So here we go. We got Coach Miller, Coach Jarvis, and Coach Ginge left.
Don't do it again.
This is a Brian Deering says Las Vegas. I love it. You're right, but you're wrong. Okay, here's the tiebreaker, and I hope this works out here. So this might be a good
Playing
one.
closest to the pin.
Yeah, right. Which NFL Hall of Famer's daughter played for the Bikini Basketball Association?
Are you kidding me?
We got choices.
You do have choices. Eric Dickerson, Dick Butkus, Marcus Allen, or Deion Sanders. Which NFL Hall of Famer's daughter played for the Bikini Basketball Association?
Choices again?
Marcus Allen, Dick Butkus, Deion Sanders, Eric Dickerson. So when I saw this question, because this was the first question that Riley sent me, I was like, hey, this is a family show. Come on now,
The first one.
It's the first question. How about that, right?
Bikini Basketball Association?
Bikini Basketball Association. The BBA.
What are you watching at night?
Blair?
Man.
Late night.
Do we have answers?
We got answers?
Do we have answers? Let's go ahead and flip it. Deion Sanders, Marcus Allen, Dick Butkus.
Oh.
The answer is Deion Sanders.
Rigged.
And again,
I know. You
2
notice
weeks in a row.
both times it's come down to a Riley Blair question.
That's terrible.
And he's had it.
That's terrible.
No, I used
They
logic.
talked before.
Logic. How old would those guys' daughters
Oh,
be?
good call.
Well, I was doing
And
that
how
too.
old would Deion's kid
That's
be?
a
And
Mark-
then, is that a new thing?
That's a good call.
Marcus Allen and
Marcus
Deion.
Allen retired a long time ago.
Him and Deion played at the same time.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
Deion played longer.
Deion played longer. Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
There it
all
is.
right. Well, here you go.
There you
McVeigh.
go.
There it is. So
Oh,
he
man.
goes
back over
away
here.
with it again for another week.
Dang it.
I think
It's going to sit on my
someone
desk at Pies.
that is.
just like,
I think someone that is not on the show should come up with the questions. Blair should have no bearing in the questions.
you act like you guys like work together. Are you guys even friends?
I have to be.
I thought the questions were good.
It's on the contract. Other duties as assigned, right?
It's number 13. It's at number 13.
Get along with the girls basketball coach.
I gotta say though, Blair really dropped the ball in the Hall of Fame quarterback one. When you
Lamar
have two
Jackson.
guys who aren't
Two guys
even in the
that
Hall
aren't
of
even in the Hall of Fame as choices.
I mean, you know,
Todd Marinovich.
Maybe he was
it
trying
would be
to.
great if they were all left-handed.
Right.
that was the other thing. Mike Vick would have been a better choice.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
That's all right.
Goodness.
When did he send you those questions?
Like a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you know.
they were pretty fresh.
you know what he sent him. What are you talking about?
I kept asking.
He sent him to you first.
Yeah, okay. You want to check my email for me too? Jeez.
All right. Well, another exciting football. We should do another one next week.
I think we are.
We're going to do
I
another
think
one
we're
next
going to do
week.
another football. I think we're going to spend some time on football.
Okay. You
Yeah.
like the football one?
I mean,
Hey, last chance you.
But he's got the cranium.
Cranium
the
Cup.
Cranium
There it
Cup
is.
over here.
Cranium
Yeah.
Cup.
know a little bit
All
about
right.
football.
We'll see if we can. We'll see if we can snag another couple of coaches.
We might. Yeah.
You know, another coach.
Thanks for being on the show, by the way.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much, man.
Have a
Hey,
little,
man.
have a little Grandview
Thanks so
Teachers
much.
reunion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
so somebody posted on there. I can't remember.
So
who did it.
here was my question.
I was-
Oh, yeah,
so
Zach
here's
has
my
a question.
That's these
So,
three.
how
Just
do
want
you-
that known.
Yeah, okay. So, what's it like? What's it feel like knowing that Coach Miller is a part of your coaching tree?
That's a really small
I'm sorry,
branch.
that's all the time we have for tonight.
It's a loaded question, ain't it?
That's a really
That's for
small,
the outtakes.
That's a really small branch. That's funny.
No, but we had a good time.
It was
And-
great. I appreciate you guys having me. It was a good time. It was a good time.
We try to have a little bit of fun here.
Good hanging out with you guys. I haven't seen you guys in a long time.
Yeah.
Way to come back and be on this show, and that's so we all catch up.
It's fun.
Or some random text messages here
Right,
and there.
Right. Good time.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks so much for watching the Coach's Box. We'll be back here again next Tuesday. We will be. And
it's on Tuesday, right?
It is on Tuesday. Yes.
All right, I got to try to keep some kind of consistency.
One
maybe.
final little note here. Don't forget our watch party, which I lost the watch party. I don't know what happened, but the watch party is this Thursday, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, right here at La Pachanga. So make sure you come out for that if you're interested in watching it on the Roku. And for Ray Halbrook and all of us here at Livestream STL and the Coach's Box, we're going to say so long. Have a wonderful evening.